Hey, hello. Alexander Figueredo here. And are you ready to up level your brand in 2023? I know I am. So today we're going to talk about, I think the title I put here is Elevate Your Brand in 2023. What does your brand stand for? So I know that there is like no magic switch, right? Like from one year to the next. But you can, you know, mindset wise, psychologically, flip that switch and say, okay, what did my brand stand for before? And what do I want my brand to stand for in 2023? And so, just quick story. As many of you know, during the pandemic, a lot of people were working from home, much more casual, much more informal, and myself included. And I found myself with what I will say now, lovingly to myself, a tired brand. Even my look was so casual, and I had this, what I thought was this gorgeous mermaid hair, but it was way too long. In fact, I just cut it a few months ago, almost a foot, and it's still long, right? So my hair was really long. And it was just tired. It was a tired brand, and I needed to refresh it. And part of that was me sitting down and saying, okay, what do I want to stand for? Right? What does my brand stand for? What do I want to stand for? And a couple of months, I did kind of like do a makeover of sorts. I cut my hair. I got elevated my jewelry, my makeup, my look. Bought new clothes, things like that, just to kind of like refresh and make my brand what I've always kind of wanted it to be, which is a little bit more sophisticated and elegant. And of course, I still am a goofball from time to time. That's just the way that I am. But I really needed to sit down and say, what do I stand for? And that's just one tiny little element of your brand. But I actually even shifted from starting your brand to elevating your brand. Even the words that I chose to use in my marketing, in my communications, in my messaging was more elevated, was more up leveling. So I want you to think about the last year and how you're showing up, or how you've been showing up with your brand image, how people are seeing you, how people are perceiving you, and how are you perceiving yourself, right? And now I want you to think about, over the next 12 months, what would you like to step into? What would you like your brand to stand for? What do you stand for? And is that being reflected in your brand? And how can you reflect that in your brand in 2023? So just like me, I literally, from one week to the next, flipped the switch and started to up level a lot of my communication, many of my branding elements. I shifted, and you can do the same. You can decide now that you want to stand up, or you want to stand for something, or you do stand for something, and you want to show up in that way. You want to be reflected, your brand reflected in that way. And you can make the decision. It's not that difficult. It starts with knowing your mission, your purpose, your vision of what you want and what you stand for, and then making that decision to go for it, to be that brand, to be that person, to do the things that would be reflective of somebody who is that, right? And so think about what do you want your brand to stand for? And I can't, most of the time when the new year happens, a lot of times do the New Year's resolutions and all of that stuff. It's a great way, a lot of times people do it with their weight and with their diet and with other things. So think about it the same way for your brand and your business. Is there something that you could do? But instead of the resolutions that are going to last 2 weeks, and then you're going to go back to, some bad habits, let's say, that you've had from before, or some habits, necessarily not bad habits, but old habits, tired habits that you had from before. What are some new ways that you can reflect yourself and your brand over the next 30 days, 90 days, and 12 months? You can think about something as simple as what I talked about with a new look for your brand, or it could be, looking at how you're presenting yourself communication wise and how you can elevate yourself. And it also could be something like maybe you make a shift. Maybe you're ready to make the shift. You've been doing one thing, you've been focused on one type of audience, one type of client, and now you're ready to try or to go double down in another audience, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can make the shift to elevate your brand. Think about some ways, and I don't want you to do all the things because that can get a little overwhelming, but think about, let's say, 2 or 3 things that you can do in the next 30 days to elevate your brand. And if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear in the comments. Let me know what you think might elevate your brand, and I'm happy to respond and give you some feedback and give you some ideas as well if you want some feedback on what you think might help for your brand. And so with that said, I guess this is going to be a pretty simple, short and sweet live today, but I did want to share, if you do need additional support to help elevate your brand, I have 2 opportunities for you I wanted to share real quick. One is I've got an Elevate Your Brand strategy starting in January. It's a 30-day, it's like a super, and actually it could be done even quicker. It could be done in like a week, but I'm saying I'm giving it 30 days. If you want to go all in, you want to elevate your brand, you want to shift, you want to change, and you want to go into 2023, guns blazing and get your new brand identity out into the world, I've got an application for that. I'm not accepting everyone as a client. I'm being choosy on who I want to work with. So I will have an application for that. I'm going to type that into the description. You can fill that out. And if you're ready to begin, then I'll set up a time so that we can meet and we could discuss if it's the right fit for you. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you're not quite ready to create a new strategy for your brand, or maybe you don't even have a brand at all yet, then I do have a course that I just launched in December, and it's called Elevate Your Brand Visibility: 5 Steps to attract your desired audience. And that I still have that on holiday pricing because I just launched. So it's on launch pricing, inaugural pricing, promotional pricing, all that good stuff before I really release it publicly in the new year. So if you're ready for that, or you could do both, but I'm going to drop a link for that as well, and you can sign up for that. And if you're not quite ready for any of that, that's great. That's great too. You can subscribe to my channel, and I'm always dropping new content every week that can help you to elevate your brand, give you little tidbits that you can think about and consider, and hopefully help you to elevate your brand along the way. So that's also a great way for you to stay up to speed on latest trends, news, strategies, tips, things that are working, things that might not be working. And of course, I'd love to have you as part of the brand strategy community, right? The branding, visibility, and communications community. All right. So with that, I will talk to you soon, and have a great, blessed rest of your week, and Happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye.